Shocking truth. What really happened to Yu Menglong? When the screen went dark and the legends whispered under the silver sky of Shanghai's restless dawn, where clouds dragged their shadows across the Huangpu like bruised memories, the name Yu Menglong rippled through the city like a forbidden spell, soft, electric, uncontainable. Something had happened, they whispered. Something strange. Something beautiful. Something so unreal that even the neon lights blinked twice, as if trying to verify its truth. The story broke before any news agency could claim it. Not on television. Not in papers. Not in scripted studio interviews polished till the truth could barely breathe. No, this tale exploded from the lips of actors, drifting like wildfire across sets, corridors, makeup chairs, and late-night rooftops where secrets usually go to die. But this one lived. And it rhymed with the legends you've read before. It began on the set of a historical drama, one crowned with silk robes, moonlit pavilions, and gusts of wind that always blew at the wrong time. Yu Menglong had just finished a scene where his character confesses a love so forbidden it made the script itself blush. The director shouted cut. The lights dimmed. Crew members shuffled. And then everything froze. The torches stopped flickering. The extras stopped breathing. The camera stopped humming. Even the autumn wind folded itself, like a dying flame. Only Menglong moved. And the world felt split. He walked off set not panicked, not confused, just strangely calm, as if he could hear a melody no one else had been gifted. A music only he recognized. A rhythm that rose from the floorboards like destiny knocking from below. Hours passed. Then days. Then rumors ballooned into phenomena. One actor described what she saw. It didn't disappear. He walked through something, like a curtain made of silence. Another whispered. It didn't feel like he left. It felt like he stepped deeper into the role itself. And a veteran actor, whose wrinkles carried more stories than his scripts ever allowed, murmured. Some actors play roles. Some become them. But a rare few, they transcend them. Piece by piece, their whispers stitched a narrative the world could not unhear. Something mystical had touched him. Or perhaps he had touched something mystical. A makeup artist finally broke. Her voice quivered with the weight of memory she wished she could unsee. She spoke of a forgotten room behind Studio 4A1 everyone walked past, but no one truly noticed. A room with a single wooden chair that seemed older than the building itself. And above the chair, a mirror. Not a plain mirror. Not a prop. Not a reflection waiting for touch-ups. A mirror that shimmered like the surface of a dream trying to escape. A mirror that pulsed. A mirror that breathed. She swore she saw scenes inside it, living scenes, fragments of Menglong's characters standing, blinking, waiting, as though aware of her presence. And her voice cracked when she said, the mirror wasn't showing him. It was choosing him. 3 days after the set froze, after the whispers had grown into storm clouds of speculation, the studio received a message, 8 words, no sender, no signature, written with eerie precision. When truth calls, roles become doors, not cages. No one slept that night. No one wanted to understand. But the makeup artist did. She returned to the secret room and found it empty. The chair gone. The mirror gone. Even the faint crack in the wall she once traced with her fingertips gone. The room had sealed itself shut, as if reality had swallowed it whole. Other actors revealed what he had once told them in passing. That roles were not masks. They were maps. That emotions weren't performed. They were traveled. That characters weren't invented. They were waiting. One co-star recalled him saying, I don't act. I listen. And sometimes, something else speaks back. A director admitted. He absorbed the world around him. He slipped into characters like moonlight slipping into a pond. A comedian confessed with trembling lips. He once asked me, do you think our characters exist somewhere else after cut? I laughed. I don't laugh anymore. Everything aligned. Everything pointed to one conclusion too profound to be dismissed. Yu Menglong had not vanished. He had transitioned. He stepped into a space where story and existence blurred, where narratives breathe, where scenes remember, where characters are not played, but met. He did not fall out of the world. He folded into a deeper one. The final revelation came from the assistant director, who spoke only after guilt clawed his conscience raw. The night before Mang Long disappeared, they had stood on the rooftop overlooking Shanghai's spreading lights. Mang Long whispered, almost to himself, "Stories don't die. They return. And sometimes they come for us." Then he bowed to the sky as if acknowledging an unseen audience and walked away with the quiet certainty of someone answering a call older than time. So, what really happened to Yu Menglong? He didn't run. He didn't break. He didn't falter. He followed the thread of a destiny woven through every role he had ever breathed life into. He stepped into a door no one else could see. A door made of scenes, made of scripts, made of fate, made of stories that finally chose him back. Some say he will return. Some say he never left, that he's woven now into every lingering stare, every trembling monologue, every scene that feels too real to be fiction. Others swear the mirror still exists somewhere, shimmering softly like a heartbeat dreaming beneath moonlight. But one thing is undeniable. Yu Menglong didn't disappear. He ascended. He became the story. And somewhere in the quiet realm between truth and imagination, he is still walking, still watching, still whispering. Cut is not the end. Cut is the beginning. The night after Yu Menglong slipped beyond the veil of ordinary sight, Shanghai felt different, as if the air itself remembered something it wasn't supposed to. Street lamps flickered in a rhythm too deliberate to be random. Billboards glowed a second too late, as though syncing to a heartbeat that didn't belong to the city at all. And actors who had once sworn they didn't believe in magic found themselves whispering his name, like a prayer they never learned, but somehow always knew. It began with the wind. Not just any wind, but a sudden hush that curled around the studios like a velvet ribbon pulled tight. A silence, so intense the night itself seemed to bow. A cameraman on his way home claimed he saw footsteps, invisible ones pressing into the thin film of dew across the pavement, the marks appearing one after another, slow, purposeful, as if someone walked beside him but kept slipping in and out of view. He didn't dare look up. He didn't dare breathe. And when he finally blinked, the footsteps had vanished, yet the dew remained disturbed, trembling like it had witnessed a truth too large to hold. Meanwhile, inside the studio's abandoned hallway, a wardrobe stylist noticed something impossible. One of the robes Mang Long wore for his historical drama, a pale silver garment embroidered with clouds, had started glowing faintly from within the fabric. Not a reflection. Not a trick of the light. A glow that grew brighter when she approached, softer when she stepped back, like the cloth had become sentient, remembering the warmth of the one who once wore it. She touched it. And for a moment, just one suspended, trembling moment, she felt a pulse. Not human, not mechanical, but something in between reality and story, as if the robe still held a heart beating in a distant world where Mang Long now walked freely. The stylist dropped the fabric and ran, her breath sharp, her eyes burning with disbelief. She tried to scrub away. But whispers travel faster than footsteps, and soon the entire crew murmured about the robe, the pulse, the glow that refused to dim even after the costume team locked it away. Someone else, an extra, who barely had lines, claimed he found script pages that were never written. Blank sheets filled themselves with scenes he didn't recognize, scenes that featured Mang Long walking through forests woven with starlight, speaking to shadows shaped like characters from dramas he filmed years ago. Lines of dialogue unfurled across the paper in ink that shimmered like midnight rain. And right before his eyes, the last line morphed, rearranging its letters like they were alive. "I am not gone. I am returning differently." No one believed him at first. But when he brought the pages forward, fresh ink still glistening, the director felt his knees weaken. Because the handwriting, the loops, the smooth strokes, the soft curve of every character belonged unmistakably to Yu Menglong himself. But the most haunting account came from the sound technician, a man whose entire career revolved around listening to things others could never hear. Late that night, While reviewing the audio files from the day Mang Long walked through the unseen veil, he noticed a soft distortion beneath the silence, something like a breath or a whisper too delicate for the human ear. He amplified it, and the whisper became a voice.
Soft, calm, certain.
A voice that felt like dusk folding into a dream. It said only one sentence, but it was enough to send shivers roaring through his bones. The scene continues where the world ends. He replayed it 20, 30, 40 times. Each time, the voice grew clearer. Each time, the message felt more pointed. Each time, the technician felt less like he was reviewing audio files and more like he was being addressed personally. By morning, every actor who had shared a set with Mang Long felt an inexplicable pull to Studio 4A. Not fear, something softer, deeper, like a longing that reached beyond memory. They gathered in silence, staring at the door to the once forbidden room. The room that no longer existed. Yet the air around it shimmered. Just faintly, like heat waves rising from sand. Like a mirage forming a doorway. Like the studio itself remembered the shape of the portal he crossed. Some swore they heard footsteps beyond the wall. Others said they heard a heartbeat. But the assistant director, the one who heard his final rooftop whisper, stepped closer than all the rest. He placed his palm against the cold, smooth, newly painted wall. And the wall warmed. Just under his touch. Just for him. He whispered, voice cracking with disbelief and hope tangled together. Are you still there? For 3 seconds, nothing. Then a pulse. A soft thrum beneath the surface. A response. Not goodbye. Never goodbye. A gentle, resonant message only he could feel. Cut is not the end. And the wall glowed just once, as if winking. As if promising. As if Yu Menglong was closer than anyone dared imagine.